The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, post its insane Season 3 wrap-up, we're crawling up dicks and fighting super Nazis. It's Jeff Bezos's, Amazon Prime's original, The Boys. I'm Reegs.
And I'm Addy.
And this is the Film Addicts podcast. Hey folks, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. We're so happy to have you here. Addy, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm absolutely dandy. It's good to be back. We had a little bit of a break there, but we're back talking the boys. The boys are back in town, and we're going to rap about it. But some pretty big shits come down the pipe. I mean, I know that they had oh Christ, what's the big thing that just happened? The big comic convention thing? I want to say WonderCon. It's not WonderCon.
It's Comic-Con.
It's just Comic-Con, right? Oh, fucking moron.
Yeah.
I was going to say WonderCon. All that's awesome. And a lot of stuff came out of that. We're not going to get too much into that because there was an awful lot of information, particularly out of the Marvel camp, talking about what they're going to be releasing for the next 482 years. All looks great. But we're going to get into some nerd news. Would you like to do some nerd news?
Let's do some nerd news.
We should. Before we do it, though, we have to shout out my main man, JP. JP.
Yes!
JP is the person who wrote the thing. Well, I mean, he wrote a song, and we used that as the theme for the show. And he got in touch with me, and he's like, "What are you using that shit music for in the rest of the thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know, JP. What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna do you a solid." And he sent me a new nerd news theme. So this is thanks very much to Johnny. And we'll put his, in the post. You always see him there, music by. So click on there. He's got a new album coming out, and this song is actually from the new album, but it's also our nerd news theme. It's nerd news. Awesome thing. Kind of sounds a bit newsy as well, which is very cool. But let's get into the nerd news. So yes, thank you again, Johnny, for that. As I said, huge stuff coming out of Marvel. We might save that when they do their D23 thingamajig. But we've got a couple of really, really interesting shits. For instance, Ben Affleck's The Batman will feature in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom after a fashion. I don't know how this is going to work.
Jeez.
How are they possibly going to? You know what I mean? Like I don't know what that is. How does he?
Batman returning.
Yeah, he's Batman returning. Yeah, absolutely, which is kind of my favorite. So, but is he going to be under the water? I hope so. I don't know if that's actually going to be.
That would be cool.
Wouldn't it be cool?
That would be cool though.
Scuba gear Batman. That's been a toy at some point. But always welcome back the Ben Afflecks to the the DC gamut of stuff. This one I found really, really cute. Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt. You all may remember Wyatt from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He played the new Captain America, and then he would end up becoming US agent. Is that right?
Yep. And he also played Zook in 22 Jump Street.
He did too. That's right. And he's in a TV show that's on. I think it's a Hulu original, but in Australia it's just on Disney Plus because we don't have Hulu here. But it's an FX show called Under the Banner of Heaven with Andrew Garfield, and he plays like a militant Latter-day Saints member, and he's really good in that. But him and his dad, the famous Kurt Russell, the wonderful Kurt Russell, the joy that is Kurt Russell. It's my birthday. If you don't know what that's from, look up Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell on Instagram. There's a video where she's like, "What's going on?" And he looks at the camera and goes, "It's my birthday." And they're like at a winery. It's just fucking adorable. But anyway, regardless of all that, they are going to star in Apple's Godzilla series. Apple TV is doing a Godzilla series, and the Russells are going to be in it.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in too. I thought I thought the whole Godzilla thing was owned by WB. Apparently not.
It might be. It might be. Like we talked about the other week. It might be public domain because I don't know when the first Godzilla movie was produced, but it'll be a while ago. So maybe it's a character that's anybody can use. I'm not really sure, but I'm looking forward to two Russells and a Godzilla.
Yes.
That should be the name of the show. Probably not. On this one, I thought that you might love this. Post Comic-Con, announcing all the new films that are coming out and all the big, huge stuff. Mr. Harry Styles has reportedly signed a 5-movie deal with Marvel to play Star Fox, or Eros, who is I believe he's the brother of Thanos. And yeah, he appeared in the end credits or the mid-credit scene in the Eternals, popped up there. He has a 5-picture deal, $100 million.
I'm so excited.
It's intense. So he's going to have to be getting his own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they do. It's not officially announced, but they had an Eros series of film in development.
Yep.
I really hope that comes to fruition because I am so looking forward to Harry Styles on screen. You have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got what's the one that he's in with Francis Pugh?
Oh,
Florence.
don't worry.
Francis, you fucking ape. Sorry. Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. Yeah, that's coming out shortly. It's fantastic. And I haven't seen it, but it looks fantastic. And yeah, and then Eros all day and all night. Well, good on him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's make it happen. This one literally I've just noticed this as I was going through the saved stories that I have, which is how I do it on for the Nerd News. Is I go through and I save stuff I think is interesting. One of them was a lot of the second Joker picture with Joaquin Phoenix will reportedly take place in Arkham Asylum, which is pretty cool. If they do a bit of a translation of, excuse me, if they do a bit of a translation of the actual Arkham Asylum comic book that Grant Morrison did, that'd be pretty cool. They're going to have to bring Batman into it, right?
I mean, is there ever a Joker story without Batman? Like, he has to be there, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bruce is in Baby Bruce.
Baby Bruce.
Baby Bruce is in the Joker. He's as a child he's there. So, let's say the Joker's been in lockup for 10 years. He might be a kid, but still, there might be a version of Batman there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if we get a Batman in that universe, we'll have 3 Batmans then.
That's a lot. That's too many Batmans.
Yeah.
That's too many Batmans. It's getting confusing.
Plus, it's going to have Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn in it. So I don't think there's room for Batman.
No. Yeah, it might be a bit much. But yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. I really don't know what that movie's going to be because Joker had a finality to it. I know that it ends with him sort of, killing, spoilers by the way, for the movie that came out in 2019. But it kind of ends with him sort of walking out and, the blood footprints, and he's obviously just killed that therapist, and he's at some sort of insane asylum. I think it says Arkham at the start. I'm not sure. But that there was a finality. Like, where do you go? What's the next story? And also, how do you make this guy? There was a sympatheticness to him, and I say that very lightly because he's still a vicious murderer. Like it was Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. It wasn't, or House of Jack built. You weren't supposed to like this guy. How do you make him even? I mean, he's watchable, absolutely, but he's still, a vicious, horrible murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with the film. Because irrespective of how good the writing was and how amazing it looked, you still know at the end of the day who's going to become the Joker. it's hard for me to relate with a person who's going to end up becoming that person.
Mm.
I don't buy it. I buy the visuals, I buy the acting, I buy everything else. I don't buy why I can't have a connection with that person.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see what kind of take they do and how much deeper they go into his psyche. But yeah,
We'll
it'll be
see.
fun.
We'll see. And look, it's not said enough. It's got to be something about the character because 2 people who have portrayed the character have won Academy Awards. You know,
Yeah.
no one says that enough. It's like that's the rarest thing on planet Earth. They talk about people, multi-award winners of multiple Oscar winners. Whether it's Daniel Day-Lewis has got like half a dozen or something like that. He's got a line of them in his car, on his bookshelf. And EGOT winners and stuff like that. No one ever talks about the fact that the Joker has won 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Joker and all things Gotham, this one dropped yesterday, and there's more information coming through. But it's something I think we really need to talk about, and it is a huge, huge problem with this kind of stuff, these kind of franchise things. The Batgirl feature film, which my understanding was to be a HBO Max release, not a theatrical release, has been indefinitely shelved by the studio heads at Warner Brothers. A new guy, I believe, David Zaslav. Basically, what's being said is that it's, it doesn't adhere to what they're trying to do with these characters, but then more information's come out and said maybe it's a tax write-off, and then more information's come out and said there was a test screening in which it got 30% out of 100 or something, and they're like, well, we're not going to waste money on getting it finished then. I don't know what the truth is. There's a lot of shit going on, but this is, and I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's any good, but geez, how disrespectful to do it without telling anybody. The 2 directors found out while they were at a fucking wedding, not a phone call, nothing, all the actors, and these aren't small actors, the young lady who plays Batgirl, as far as I understand, is sort of relatively new, a new face, which is really great. Was looking forward to seeing what she could do. But people like Brendan Fraser and Michael Keaton, they're not the kind of people whose films you cancel. It's really crap, and it's that what we were talking about yesterday, Addy. It's where art meets commerce. And I hate that because commerce is always going to win. If they can't find a way to, bank this, if they can't find a way to make money off this, and test screenings don't mean shit in my opinion. Like I don't think that is an accurate gauge of the quality of a film. And if you were just going to do it on HBO Max anyway, like what's the difference? It's $90 million already. So what's the point? Look what happened with fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League. Did you not learn anything? You fuck up a movie and you release it and it does poorly, and then 3 years later you get the director's cut anyway. Like just do it. Just put it out there and see what a reaction is. But again, I don't understand the ins and outs. I just feel bad for the crew and the cast and all the people who work so hard and put all this time in. This young girl was cast as Batgirl, for crying out loud. It must have been amazing to her to be cast as that and be like, wow, I'm going to be Batgirl. I'm going to be Batgirl for all time now. People are always going to remember you as that. I'm up there with, everybody who's ever played that character before, either, live action in the TV series from the 60s or, in cartoon form. I don't think she's been seen in I know Barbara Gordon's been seen in like Birds of Prey, the TV series from the early 2000s, I think it was. But, she was going to become iconic. Now is the time for it. And it's just been pulled out from under her. So, yeah, fuck corporate thinking, in my opinion.
Yeah. Just fuck all of it. It's hard because I haven't fully talked about it. I was saving it for now, for today. It's something like, it's kind of similar to what we talked about with the visual effects artists, that people are just there's so many people attached to that film. And there's so many people who worked their asses off for years trying to get this character to just just have this character in just one appearance. It wasn't even supposed to be a theatrical release, so they didn't have to market it in a way that it was going to be a theatrical release. And for fuck's sake, I mean, they're still going forward with the Flash film. Like, where's the fucking balance, man? Like, it hurts because it would have been the first ever introduction to Bat Family other than Batman. You would have opened gates for Nightwing, for Deathstroke, for so many other characters. It just is depressing, and especially as fans of these characters, it's annoying when people don't like understand how important these characters are. Because yeah, fuck, they're fictional characters, but they're also characters made by people who just love writing and people who love this medium. And then it's put into film where it can be a gateway for so many other people to love this character, and then go back to the comics and then read those stories. It's it's so it's so frustrating that we hear again. Like, and I'm scared, man. I'm fucking scared because Blue Beetle has the same shit. It's almost done.
Yeah.
We've had set photos of
talking about, the Flash. Are they just going to cut their losses? They're setting up this Michael Keaton as Batman. They've 86'd him from one film. Are they going to do a complete rebrand? It's such a mess, and it's really, yeah. I mean, the storytelling is the thing that's sort of critical, and it's gonna. If these are the choices that could be made, no one's going to want to do this stuff. You think that those two directors are going to accept a fucking studio job again? For something that's a risk, like Batgirl. In the well, it's not a huge risk because this stuff's popular now. But in what's going on, Marvel gives them a call and like, hey, do you want to make something? Well, no, because I'm worried that this is going to happen again. That they're going to see this thing that's unfinished and make a snap judgment on it based on because you can fucking write it off at the end of the year. Like, it's all very beige, money changing hands thought processing, and you, like, if you want to make a successful film, you need to keep that out of the way. But
absolutely, or get someone who's in charge and who actually fucking likes these things. Like, I bet $1 million the person who's making those calls right now and saying that we're not going forward with these projects knows little to fucking nothing about these characters.
Of course, they're all soda salesmen. They buy and sell people at the drop of a hat. They make these decisions from their ivory towers. It's a cliche, but it's true. These rich business type guys who completely negate all the work for all the technicians and all the creatives and all the, Jesus Christ, the catering people, for fuck's sake. Everybody who worked on Batgirl and gave it their all, sitting on their golden toilets, making a phone call saying, nah, we're going to write it off, $90 million. And $90 million isn't anything, that's, isn't nothing, sorry. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to put in anything. Like, how fucking dare you in these times? Completely ignore something that costs that much money. It's just a write-off to you. Like, fuck you. Do you know how many people struggle in this world? In that industry as well. I'm not even talking about people who aren't in that industry and, live in abject poverty or anything like that. I'm not trying to make a big issue out. I'm just saying $90 million in the film industry is a lot of money, for those people to be hired and those people to continue to have jobs. Like, yeah, it's just such top level corporate money counting decisions that I just can't get my head around,
And I have something that I'm sharing with you right now, which kind of sheds light on what they might actually do with things coming out.
Is this okay? Yep. Just go on Instagram. Everyone. Hold on one second.
Yeah. This
Warner
was
Brothers
rumored, but
is
now it's
likely to
confirmed.
cancel its plans for the Sasha Kali starring Supergirl movie. That's right. She was to be introduced in The Flash, right? Man.
Yep.
How can you just destroy people's dreams and destroy people's hearts? How can you
When
be
I
so force?
when I got the news, it was rumored, but now it's confirmed
Yeah.
in like a matter of minutes or something. Um, the thing is, Batgirl and Supergirl were supposed to be replacements for Superman and Batman
That was my understanding
because
too.
they were going out of the Snyderverse and trying to create their own shit.
Mm.
The problem here is that they don't understand that Superman and Batman don't have to be dead for these characters to exist.
Yeah.
And
Clearly, I mean, Batman's going to be swimming around in a little bit. It's going to be ducking
yeah,
underwater and blowing some bubbles.
and Supergirl is elder, more stronger, more capable than Kal-El.
Mm.
And
I reckon
hope
he's
that
going to
she.
turn up in Black Adam, though.
Oh yeah,
I reckon
dude,
Cavill's going to
like
turn up.
WB or moreover DC is just like they're running away from the question that who's playing Superman, and they want this big reveal that Henry Cavill is still playing Superman. It's not going to be a big reveal, man.
Yeah.
The only fight we want to see is Henry Cavill and The Rock. If you have fucking
Duel of the
Brandon
Dicks!
Rock,
Let's do it! Those two beautiful
Yes!
motherfuckers. Let's make it happen. Come on. Come
Yeah.
on. Give the people what they want. Give them Batgirl and give them dicks. That's what everybody wants.
if you have Brandon Routh show up as Superman, then nobody will give a fuck.
I'd be cool with that. I love Brandon Routh. I think he's great. He was recently in well, not recently, it was like last season or something, but I recently watched him doing a run, like a few episode run in the Nathan Fillion series, The Rookie. And fuck, he was good. Played this horrible racist cop and just like so against type because he's such a nice, genuinely nice guy. And he was great. So yeah, if I put him in the cape, I don't give a shit. Not the racist version,
Yeah.
obviously. What a racist Superman. That's
Could
terrible.
you imagine?
Yeah.
That's an Elseworld story.
It is. Well, I mean,
Racist
yeah, Red
Superman.
Sun, I guess, is sort of goes that way a little bit, and I guess so does Injustice. But anyway, someone tooting you. What the fuck just happened there?
Yeah.
Baby. Intense.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going on in the news, and it sucks. But what doesn't suck is the fantastic TV series. Is it a TV series? It's not a streamer. I guess it's a series anyway. The Boys, created by Eric Kripke of Supernatural fame. He created that show, which tracks because fantastically this season just finished season 3. We had a Soldier Boy, played by the person who looks so much like my best friend and writing partner Ben that I often will post a picture of this guy saying happy birthday when it's his birthday. Like it's like, happy birthday, Ben. You really are supernatural, but it's a picture of this guy. Jensen Ackles, wonderful actor. Yes, he appeared in this season. But yeah, originally was a comic book written by the wonderful Garth Ennis, who was sort of known for his sort of more adult take, his kind of no holds barred storytelling, whether it's through Preacher or his Welcome Back Frank run on Punisher, which is legendary at this point. Really, really great series. Created this thing, and then along comes Kripke and decides to do it. And I think you made the best point, Addy. Oh, also, the rest of the people in the show, Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, the wonderful Anthony Starr, Erin Moriarty. Is it Moriarty? Yeah, that's a cool name. And lots and lots of wonderful actors. You can look them up. But I mean, you said it best. This is the antidote to your superhero fatigue, if you have it, because it is so. They have gone so far in the opposite direction. If you look at something like Thor: Love and Thunder, childlike cartoonishness of that, and then the sex party episode of season 3 of what was it called again? Herogasm. Like, they are, for something they're on the same, it's the same train, right? It's running on the same tracks, but at one end of the train, there's a bunch of people killing each other with crossbows and having clown sex. And then on the other end of the thing, there's like everyone's having Jello pudding and watching the Teletubbies. That's the chasm, but they're on the same track. Do you know what I'm saying?
But they're also kind of not, because they can do literally anything they want.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
they are bound by nothing as far as storytelling is concerned, and season 3 was a perfect example of that. I mean, when we will talk about season 3 a bit more than everything else, only because that's the most recent thing, and they pushed it even further. And it's not just all about the gore and the lunacy of how far they actually go. You know, the episode of the guy with Ant-Man's powers shrinking down and walking up someone's dick and then sneezing because he's had too much cocaine and going full size and just turning this guy into mince. I laughed so hard because of its absurdity, not because it was like I enjoyed grotesquities or anything. It's so absurd. They really did answer the question, what if Ant-Man just went up Thanos' ass?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still really great character development, particularly in that season where they start, going down a path of using V themselves and trying to combat the superheroes. And Anthony Starr playing Homelander, becoming more and more unhinged, and then becoming almost like a QAnon sort of spokesperson, this sort of intense figure. I mean, it's obviously a comment on the Trump presidency and how that kind of volatile intensity can galvanize people who feel like their voice hasn't been heard and who probably have maybe not some great ideas about what needs to be changed in order to make their country the country they want it to be. And there is in air quotes, by the way, because it's, America is stolen land too. So there's still a lot going on, even though it is really, really over the top and grotesque and funny. There's the character stuff is second to none. Otherwise, you wouldn't watch. If it was just that nonsense stuff, you'd just skip through to all the gory bits and you wouldn't get any of the story.
Absolutely. And like watching The Boys is like watching a Mission Impossible film. And it feels like it because like if we go and go and see interviews, Tom Cruise says that making a Mission Impossible film is you have a crazy idea and then you make a script around that crazy idea.
Yeah.
I think especially season 3, it's been exactly that with every episode. It's like, for fuck's sake, we have Aquaman fucking an octopus. What else do you need?
It's brilliant. No shame. The octopus it's consensual. It's all consensual. So, in this version of reality, he can talk to that octopus. He's not just grabbing any random octopus. They have a relationship. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship. Why not? Fucking octopus. Better that than eat one, like in Old Boy. So, I'm pretty sure the octopus didn't consent to that shit. But yeah, I do. And the characters as well, I mean, they're clearly a spin on, Homelander's definitely Superman and the Deep is Aquaman and A-Train is the Flash. There was some interesting stuff this season around, him sort of getting revenge and, on some... It was a very, the character that he ended up murdering. By the way, spoilers for all this. They ended up murdering. There was a lot around the Black Lives Matter movement there and this guy being against that, and then A-Train being like doing what, some people would want to do to those people who sound so irrational is just, run them along the street at bolt speed until they turn into goddamn, turkey meat. They're finding a way to bring these real things into, like I said, this stuff that is aping the unreal. Soulja Boy's Captain America, 1,000%. Maeve is 1,000% Wonder Woman. And I think the thing that got me particularly from the very beginning is how if these people, and a perfect example is this Batman movie that's just been cancelled because of, commercial reasons and money reasons. If these people really did exist, they would be privatized. They would be put into a corporate structure and they would be sold. That's absolutely the case. Fantastic Four has been doing that for years in the comics. They have always been a commodity. They have a fucking department that handles that stuff, What I want to ask though is so I'm used to this stuff. Like the 90s were, rife with this kind of storytelling from Garth Ennis in particular, Preacher. It was a great series called Hitman. But there was a turn at that period of time into the more adult, more violent. It wasn't this tongue in cheek, but that kind of storytelling, and it has been a bit of an antidote to the DC Marvelification of all of these properties, even newer stuff that's coming out. Like I was watching Ghostbusters Afterlife the other day. Kidified. Made the first Ghostbusters movie is fucking scary in parts. Afterlife is not, so there has been a market shift. Boys is subverting that. How do you view it as a person who this kind of storytelling must be quite new?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, The Boys was my first ever, like, introduction. Was my first introduction to, like, superheroes not being glorified.
Okay.
Like they're not heroes in this universe. It was like the first episode, I was like, what the fuck? But I realized, holy shit, I kind of like these fuckers.
Yeah, you can't help it, and there's definitely, there's voices there. Starlight, for instance, and also, there's nothing funny about her introduction. What happens to her, speaking very much of the time. The times that we're in, and then that person, the Deep is not redeemed for that. He's also painted as an imbecile. Like he's clearly, off his rocker. But there's no sort of he doesn't ever suffer for that. But she is a lighter, sympathetic character. So is Jack Quaid's character as well. And then they become corruptible, as well. She starts playing the game, and he starts taking V, and they these people that you like. I think the only one who's even close to 100% innocent is Mother's Milk. I think he's probably the one with the purest of heart, definitely. Oh, Frenchie's pretty good.
Frenchie's pretty good, but he's also like high 90% of the time.
Yeah, he's clearly an addict and has some issues and stuff. His love story though, with
Kamiko
is so wonderful. That episode where it's like a musical in the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw a bit of musical in somewhere, I'm gonna watch.
Yes.
I love a musical, mate. It was so good. But yeah, you do find that the people like Butcher's not terribly sympathetic. His motivations are understandable, but where he
up until season 2 though, not after season 2. Like after season 2, he's just out for blood. Like he's like, fuck all the fucking fucks who fly in the fucking air.
Yeah,
wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And Homelander, we'll talk about Anthony Starr in a second because there's a lot of really nuanced stuff going on there. It's why he's a meme now, because he is so expressive without actually having to say anything. But this, the vendetta is what you're following. It's the thing that is consistent throughout the storytelling. No matter who drops off and who comes in, you always have that through line of like Butcher is going after Homelander for killing and raping his wife and producing this kid. And that's, you always want that to end up to be a really good situation where Butcher saves the kid. That's what you immediately think is going to happen, and then it's like, oh no, this kid is going to go with his father and learn to be in that environment.
That there's just so much here that's like reflective of the times that we live in. It's like you laugh at it for a second, and like after a second you think about it, it's fucking horrifying.
Mm.
Like the whole thing with like the news and everything with Homelander coming, like when Soldier Boy's out and he's bursting out sonic beams, and Homelander goes on the news and says it's safe to go out. That's exactly what everyone said in March of 2020, where everyone said it's safe to go out, and then look where the fuck we ended up.
Yeah.
And it's like I've studied journalism. I know what kind of shit happens behind that camera and how many people are actually responsible of getting the news every single minute. And Jesus Christ, they do it in a way that's truthful to what they're doing, yet it's entertaining, and but like the truth shines so much.
Mm.
And like if you see season 1, 2, and 3, you'll see how they've progressively improved. Like you see season 1 and season 2, they have a formula, and I've seen the show, like I've seen season 3 just once, but 1 and 2 I've seen twice. So I've actually noticed it is that especially the first 2 episodes of season 1, season 2, they have a formula of 50 minutes of absolute bullshit, and then the last 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes are going to be complete uh, development of story. And the 5 minutes of complete development of story is what drives you to the next episode.
Absolutely.
But which is not a bad thing to do. Don't get me wrong. It's something, if you stay consistent, people are going to catch on. But they completely threw that off in season 3, and they literally had like a father-son story here, which is fucking bizarre. Like I remember, like I think it was like the second episode of the Legacy of Spider-Man, when we had the call, and I was saying I have a crazy fucking theory that Soldier Boy can be like Soldier Boy and Liberty, who was then Stormfront, could be Homelander's parents. And it's not said, but it's also very eminent that could be the case.
Yeah, they're kind of leading into that pretty hard. It's interesting. Like they are taking things that are in the populace, like the zeitgeist of the time, putting it in. You know, Stormfront is a perfect example of that. But this the idea of lineage, where do I come from? You know, and how does that inform who I am? Not just based on who your parents were, but where you come from literally. So in terms of your past, not location. Who Soldier Boy was, the time that he was in, and the people that he was with. And then you look at someone like Noir, who is severely deranged to the point where he sees cartoons around him because he can't deal with trauma. And I think that that's really interesting because everybody's feeling a certain way at the moment. Everybody in the world has just, you know, been through the same trauma, and no one's really processed it. We're all just getting on with our lives, and yet there's so much conflict in places that there didn't used to be. And I think that's really present in this season because they're all, you know, fighting these battles that don't need to be fought, you know, within themselves, within their groups, particularly between, you know, Jack Quaid and Carl Urban, who's wonderful, by the way. Just such a great lead for this show. Go off on their own to go and try
Absolutely.
and, you know, get Soldier Boy to, you know, one evil cancels out another evil. No, not so much. But that's what they go after. And Starlight, interestingly, you know, becoming the corporate shield, trying to play the game, and then doing a complete 180 and going onto social media, which is what social media is painted a very particular way in this show. And you know, it is demonized accurately because it is a really horrible place. There was so many untruths there. But when she's standing there, you know, doing that thing, and then like saying there's people here who have died and it's not safe and all that stuff, and Homeland is like, oh, it's fake news, basically. You know, it's so of its time in a way that other stuff that is working in this genre is not. You know, again, we'll just use it as an example because it's the most recent thing that's come out. Thor: Love and Thunder is not of its time. In fact, it's completely fucking tone deaf. If you ask me, like how you can have spoilers, everyone, for a little bit of Thor 4 chat here. If you haven't seen it, stop listening in 3, 2, 1. The cancer subplot, like fuck you. You can't do that. That's not how you handle that at all. In my opinion, I think that's completely fucking tone deaf to the reality of what you're trying to talk about. Whereas this is very, very real. This is very in the moment. It feels like it's written on a day-to-day basis. Before they get, the seasons are written over a long period of time and then go into production well in advance of anything happening. But there is a prescience to this show that I really appreciate.
Absolutely. And
just opening my drink, sorry.
And the scene that you're talking about where she's basically quitting the Seven.
Yeah.
That comes at the end of the Herogasm episode, and for me, that episode was the most anticipated one because we're gonna see superheroes having sex, which we never do, and there was a lot, but I was not expecting that, and I had my jaw just flat on the fucking floor because I was like, shit. Like this, like the story has fucking stakes now. Like it's not just we're gonna get Soldier Boy and kill Homelander. Like this shit matters and people died.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. Like on Instagram, VOT has an official page where the release stuff and like news clips and everything. It's like the marketing for the show is fucking fantastic.
It's pretty great, yeah.
And they released like the whole thing saying that what Starlight did was wrong and all that shit. And there was a hashtag that went viral saying what lied and people. And it was so fucking amazing because it felt like we were in the show because that was the hashtag that was going viral in the show as well.
Yeah,
I noticed it's
it,
fucking brilliant.
What was it? Vought lied and people died.
Yeah.
It's so in the moment, and it's so where we are societally, while still being able to be funny and quirky and have they're balancing that really well. The very serious and the common that we find in our everyday lives with the supreme, and I've the Herogasm. Maybe I'm jaded. I don't know. The Herogasm episode was like whatever. The funniest part was when that huge dick came out and was like right in front of Mother's Milk, and he was like, "Do you want to get your love sausage out of my face?" Like that was fucking hilarious. And then Starlight's like, "Oh, he's human, but he eats pussy like you read about, num 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 num." Like it was just so unexpected. But the part the part that was most interesting about that episode was the fight between Homelander and because Homelander all of a sudden was you give Butcher superhuman strength. He's a better fighter than Homelander because he's trained. Homelander has been a strong person since he was a child. He's always relied on being superhuman. It's part of the reason that he's so deranged is because he has a superiority complex. And he
has no.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, you do it.
I was just gonna say that he has little to no training to how to fight. All he does is use his powers.
Exactly. Yeah, he doesn't have any combat experience, and Soldier Boy does as well. Like he's an actual a war veteran, even though he's like played so well by Jensen Ackles as being this slimy, horrible, drug addicted. Drug-addled. Not to say that people who have addictions are horrible people, but he doesn't give a shit. Like he's totally, portrayed in that sense. But I think probably, the thing that's come out of this is everybody realizes Anthony Starr is a star, literally. There is so much going on with in his performance of Homelander. He is absolutely captivating. You can't fucking take your eyes off him. And the only time I remember feeling that way about an actor playing a role of a villain was Jack Nicholson in 1989's Batman. He's just electric. The scene is like he's like a black hole. The entire scene just gets sucked into the gravity of what he's doing. And he's playing it so nuanced. You know, no one can smile away anger the way that he doesn't have to anymore, because the character's going to a place where he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to be myself, and everybody starts loving it, and he's like, oh, holy shit, you know, which is only going to make the matter worse. But when he had to sort of chew back his anger and his feelings, that would then turn into him going up to the deep and telling him that he's fat, or A-Train, you know, or ripping a person in half or whatever. He plays there's a sympathetic nature too, because he's a completely artificial creation. Like, he's a creation of Vought.
Yeah.
Has been tormented and not raised correctly, and raised correctly in the sense that he was engineered in a lab, not that he had bad parents. But yeah, he's there is some sympathy.
If you think about it, he did kind of have bad parents.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, that's absolutely true. I miss her.
Yeah, I'm here.
Though. She was so good in that first season. And the milk thing's hilarious. Like, I mean, it's not hilarious, but it's not something that you would expect.
Yeah.
You go, oh, that's going to pop up in a fucking superhero something or other. I don't know what that's called, that particular fetish, but, you know, God love him, whatever he likes. Apart from ripping innocent people in half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that where he laser beams that dude, you know, because he has the fantasy. I think it's the first or the second season where he just cuts those people in half with his laser vision, and it's just a fantasy.
Yeah, second season.
It is the second season, yeah. And this time he actually does it, and everyone's like, yeah, and like his face, the acceptance.
Oh God,
he's gotten everything he's ever wanted. Everybody loves him for who he actually is, not the artificialness. What's the matter? While Eddie has a conversation with somebody outside the window, I'll just keep talking about how much I love Anthony Starr. It's all good, man. Don't stress. Things get in the way. There's people outside right now doing all sorts of lawn work. So, he's finally accepted for the 100% pure version of who he is, as opposed to this property that Vought totes out there to sell themselves. You know, buy the Homelander lunchbox kind of thing. He's like, this is me wholeheartedly, and everybody loves me and accepts me. Great, I can do no wrong now. Which is interesting when you talk about what might happen in season 4. You know, what's this story now? Is he going to end up president? He's a TV star.
Yeah.
You know, he's a social celebrity. I don't know. What do you see season 4 being?
Season 3 was so fucking perfect in the sense that it asked the question of how far you can go hating something that you eventually become the thing you hate. And it was consistent in Butcher's storyline, where now we have just 18 months with Butcher, with which I think it like. There's no The Boys without Anthony Starr and Carl Urban. Like a lot of people like equate this to like Daredevil, the show. Mm-hmm. When like a lot of people were asked what's the one thing that you want the MC to have, and it would be like a coin, which we have like, if we have Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, we have to have Charlie Cox as Daredevil. Like those are two sides of the same coin. Like one side doesn't work without the other.
Sure.
And with how things are going with Butcher, I can see season 4 being the last, which could be the case because the showrunner who ran first 5 seasons of Supernatural said he left after 5 seasons because he had nothing else to tell.
Yeah.
And because now he's the main showrunner and he has the power to do literally anything he wants. So I think this will really be like could be a really amazing way to just bookend the show, where it's so high that you can't there's no way anything else like tops The Boys. Like something that can come like a bit closer could be season 2 of Invincible, but that's also like
Yeah.
I mean, there you have the seven as well with fucking Omni Man being Superman.
Mm.
It's the same shit. But I mean, you brought on Love and Thunder. It's like it's Thor Love and Thunder, as in this is Homelander's coming of age story, but he's just very very powerful.
Yeah.
Like it can go in a good way, which is Thor Love and Thunder, and then this is the realistic way where he would fucking laser people in the street and to say anything bad
Yeah.
about him.
The hopefulness in the the MCU that the good people will do the right thing in the end is a nice sentiment, if somewhat naive to the way that human beings actually are. I'm not saying that there aren't really good people out there who, once imbued with godlike abilities, wouldn't do the right thing, but there'd be an awful lot of people who wouldn't. People who would use that power for bad things, or for at least to overpower people, and become
or to just their benefit.
Just to make money. It's the allegorically like Spider-Man. He gets his superpowers, thinks he can make a bit of money, wrestling because he's got super strength, and he ends up karmically suffering for that. I mean, I'm not saying that's the correct thing to happen, but there is a very human vein in all of these people, in all of these flawed people that we're talking about in The Boys, particularly the villains. The way that they're seen, like A-Train trying to rebrand himself as well, is and the way that people react to that is so everybody wears their identity on their sleeves these days, and in some ways that's really good because it affords you the opportunity to be upfront with people straight on. We're in a time where, things like, political affiliations, sexual orientation, just the way that you feel about everything can be on the tip of your tongue. You don't have to be so guarded, but it also, leaves the opportunity for scrutiny. And they are the perfect example of that. Someone like Maeve, who has to hide her sexuality because of the figure that she is, in these times, is a very backwards kind of way of thinking. But would be something that would be under consideration, in very particular parts of America as well. The Bible Belt kind of place where that those ways of being are still frowned upon, and they don't hang a hat on it. They never make it. Not everything about Maeve is about her sexuality. Not everything about A-Train is about his race. Like there's broader themes going on, but they do touch on it enough so that you have a think about it for a second and don't dismiss it.
Yeah, it's very much there compared to like DC or Marvel, where they try and put that in the background. It's in the background here, but it's also very, very vividly visible.
Yeah. They don't, like I said, there's no, hey, look at what we're doing. We're so inclusive, or we're so ahead of our time, or, we understand issues. But they're just putting it in there and going, this is something that these people would have to deal with because they're human beings on planet Earth. Whereas, again, I'm not ragging on Marvel because they're two very different things. It's, it's comparing hot sauce to Bunty.
Mayo.
I don't know. It's comparing two things that aren't the same. But there is a very sterileness to where the themes of those things never touch on, the things about sexuality or, racial relations or, any broad societal issue, because they're too busy throwing colors and shapes at you, because they're kids' films. That's kind of what Thor has, and everything that's kind of come after Endgame has done. Well, not to get off track of Boys, but Boys is an example of, again, the antidote to this. They've all been like, who's buying this stuff? It's kids. It's kids who are buying this stuff. We need to lighten it up. Even something like Doctor Strange having all those new characters in it. That's toys. I just they're I think they're more focused on how do we sell these things as opposed to how do we tell the best story. And what's happening right now, we were talking about before about the Batgirl picture and whatever's going to happen with Flash and Supergirl and all that stuff. It's all about how do we sell these things, not how do they talk to people? How do they speak to people? How do you relate to them as human beings?
Yeah, I mean, we need the boys in like the most weird way. It's like there's no way the buzz exists without MCU and DCU. But I mean, of course, like when they started making the show, they would have seen the success that MCU has had. That people are like into superheroes, but that's just the catch. That's the tricky part. And I find it so interesting that like when I watch an episode of Boys, I'm not there for like the fight choreography. I'm there to see how much shit we're in and how the fuck we can get out of it. Like, and like just going back to Anthony Starr, because the man's a beast. I have never like I don't like the Nolan pictures. I think the Joker there was okay. I think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was also okay. I've never felt so uncertain and so afraid of a character more than Homelander. Whenever he's on screen, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
But I'm also so excited because it's him and I really want to see what he does.
Yeah.
Like it's
the performance is magnetic, but it's panic inducing every time he pops up, especially when he's around another character. Especially when his altercations with Starlight in season 3. Because you don't know. This show does, even though the core cast is all still alive, the stakes are so high. You don't know who's going to be next. There's nothing telling you that these people have to live. They're not. I don't know if they're sticking to what the stories were in the comic books. I'd assume they deviate in some fashion. But I think that threat, again, just to go back, because we're just talking about something that's just come out. Thor's not going to get killed. You know, I mean, Endgame's one thing. Like, everybody knew there was a big death coming because, you know, it had to have some gravity to it. It had to have some weight to it. Sorry, not gravity. But, you know, they released the schedule for these pictures and be like, yeah, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And way to take away all the fucking threat in any of those movies, you know, because now we know that all the people who are cast are going to cast in the next 5 too. The boys, you don't have that luxury. They, you know, the series opens and you're like, okay, it's been picked up for another season, but they don't say who's going to be in it yet. You know, there was nothing stopping them from killing Butcher at the end of season 3. Absolutely nothing. You know, apart from the fact that Karl Urban is a fucking pimp and he should be in everything at least once. He should. Fucking Jesus. All this brouhaha around, you know, Disney remaking live action versions of their cartoons or whatever and everything. Just make him the Little Mermaid. Make him Pocahontas. And then you get all out of the way of all the problems. It's Karl Urban, a one-man show, everything. That's all I want for life now. The genie, all of them. I just really like Karl Urban. He's a fucking solid actor too. He's a really good character actor.
He is.
Like him a lot.
And he was in the Lord of the Rings. So
he was. Who is he? Boromir or Faramir or Saruman or Sodomy? Jesus. Christ. Oh, Sardine Tins. What was his name? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's the commander of
the Rohirrim.
Riders of the Rohirrim.
Rohirrim, yeah.
And he's
what's his name in it?
I don't fucking know, man.
Oh man. There are so many LOTR fans just screaming at their phones right now going, it's fucking this one. All right, hang on. Let me see. Karl Urban with a K. There's a really good... His IMDb picture is him as a cowboy. And it's from a movie called Comanche Moon. And Jesus, look at that.
Wow.
What a dish. He's such a dude. He was great in Dread as well. Okay, in Lord of the Rings, he was Eomer? Eomer.
Yeah, Elmir.
Eomer. There you go. God, he's been in some good stuff too. Oh, he was in a Thor picture. That's right.
Yeah, the best one yet.
He was in Riddick. Oh, he's Bones in the Star Trek pictures. Yeah, he's great. I really like him. Oh, he's good in that Bourne picture. Anyway, stop looking at IMDb, Riggs. So, you're just wasting everybody's time. But yeah, it's like the I think the irreverence of the show is really critical for this period of time. I was honestly not super jazzed for this season for whatever reason. I was just like, man, there's so much superhero stuff. Like, I had such a fatigue on it when I went the other night to see official competition, the Spanish language film with Antonio Banderas and Penelope Cruz. I was just mystified by the fact there was no CG, as far as I can tell, there's no CG. It was just people in a room having a conversation, comedy and some quirkiness. Like, that's a brilliant film if you get a chance to see it, by the way. Official Competition is my movie of the year. I loved it. But I was so taken aback by there not being any laser beams or people doing flips or anything. It was really refreshing. And I was feeling a little bit that it was post kind of Doctor Strange 2 and all that stuff when the new series The Boys came out. And, I'm going to jump back in because I like the story. I like what goes on. And yeah, it just got me. It just hooked me again the same way that it did when I took a punt on it way back when, just thinking, oh, this is based on a cool comic. I like Garth Ennis. Let's check it out. And yeah, it'll be one of those ones that ends quickly. Like, it won't go for seasons after seasons after seasons. It'll be, like you said, either wrap up next season or maybe season 5 or something. And
yeah,
it'll be better for it. Once that story's over, I know they're doing a spin-off, which is based around a university.
I mean, it's based on. Yeah, I think it's based on just young people, like the younger generation of the experiments.
Right.
So it's like Homelander versus a university.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. So it's kind of like, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that'll be whatever it is, but maybe that takes over. It's not going to be like The Walking Dead, how you've got The Walking Dead, fear The Walking Dead, feed The Walking Dead, massage The Walking Dead, make sure The Walking Dead has, plenty of snacks for their trip. I don't know, perform unusual experiments on them. All these Walking Dead shows happening concurrently. It seems like The Boys will probably end next season, season 5, and then this thing will take over, which is totally cool. Yeah. But I think once the story of Butcher and Homelander is and it ends with one of them dying, let's face it, or both of them. Once that story is closed, I think that ends the loop and you can move on. And you can tell other stories in that universe, but
that story is done.
Yeah, it's very contained in that sense. And I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with it. You give me what you give me, and then in a few years' time, it'll be remembered really fondly. As opposed to, like people got really sick of The Walking Dead, or people were really upset with the ending of Sopranos, Dexter probably went for 3 seasons too long. Stuff like that. You kind of think, man, if only they'd had the presence of mind to tighten it up when they needed to. And I think that the luxury of being on a streaming platform like this that has the money to throw at a show, you can kind of do that and then go, oh, well, what's next? What are we going on to? There's some integrity around the storytelling part of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's so refreshing and like just it makes you so happy to see like that this just exists.
Yeah.
And like everyone who likes superheroes should watch the show, and everyone who hates superheroes should watch the show.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely the case. I've had people going, I hate Marvel shit. I hate DC shit. They watch The Boys and they're like, oh, fuck, this is baller. This is exactly what I need. And it's so, again, we talk about the gratuitousness of it, the sexual stuff and the what do you call it? The gore. Yeah, the gore factor of it. It's so over the top. Some people are probably offended by it, but it's so over the top. It's it's doing the thing that other superhero movies are doing with just reality, but this is doing it in a way that says people are made out of flesh and bone, and this is what happens when someone explodes out of their penis. But
Yeah.
it's done in such a comical way. It's so over the top, you can't help but laugh. It's like a Tarantino film. It's like the last act of Django. The last act of Django Unchained is such a fucking overblown, blood-soaked, kill fest. You can't help but laugh at parts because it's so obscene and so unrealistic. I think that kind of, it benefits from that because then you can, then when they do have the more dramatic moments, you can latch on because there is so much unreality going on too. So, final thoughts, Addy, on The Boys and what you think might happen next year or in 2 years or whatever the fuck we get the next one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're starting to shoot this August for season
Is that
4.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So I guess we'll get like a trailer or a teaser in like early 2023.
Okay.
And again, we get season 4 in summer of 2023.
So mid-year.
I think that's the way to go.
Jesus, man, a whole year's worth of, well, a whole year, 8 episodes or whatever in a year. And it's high quality stuff. Like the CG is really good, and the the costuming and the set design. Like this isn't cheap. And writing the scripts as well. They're great scripts. It's the turnaround's really impressive. Well, I can't wait. Make it happen again.
I can't wait either.
Yeah.
The one.
What was? Oh no, you froze. What did you say? Sorry, you froze for a second. That's the noise you make when you freeze. No. So what were you saying? The one thing that you just were laughing at me doing that, weren't you? Yeah. I was making funny shapes, everybody who can't see this. I've got all these videos saved. I should start putting them out. One thing that you want to see, sorry?
Yeah. The one thing I want is that maybe we get Black Noir back. Because that shit hurt, man.
Yeah.
He went out in a way that was fucking rad.
It was such a, because again that character's really unusual, and you shouldn't feel that much for someone who's as
like he's had no dialogue throughout the show.
Yeah.
I still care for him.
Yeah. This is a good character, and it was always going to end that way. Like, and also for as evil as he is, the pain that Homelander felt killing him, because he's like, you're the only one I really trust, and to have that taken away from him, a really poignant moment. Yeah, I'd love to see that as well. I'd love to see Starlight be one of the really big cogs in the wheel of stopping Homelander in the end. I think she's earned that. I'm not just talking for representation or whatever. I just mean that character has earned it, regardless of her, sex or race or creed or any of that stuff. Just that character. And Butcher also needs some peace. He's such an angry man. He's very confused. He doesn't know how to relate to people properly. Nothing's ever his fault. He won't accept liability for anything until something goes really wrong, and he has that sort of fevered dream and wakes up and remembers what happened to his brother. He needs to find some peace, because he's a very hurt person, and that would be and if that peace is the peace to be found in either putting all this behind him, or being able to raise that young boy, get him out of the brainwashing. Or if indeed that is like Tony Stark, it means that he has to pass on. As long as the story intent is correct, I'm happy. And then Carl Urban can go and be in everything that we want him to be in Disney. He can be all the clocks and the footstools and everything, he'd do all that, and he could be the Beast, and he could be Bella. Like, Carl Urban's Beauty and the Beast. Sounds fantastic.
A one-man play. And then that's taped and then put into theaters.
Yeah, why not? Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
So that's The Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, do check it out. It's fantastic on Amazon Plus, Amazon Prime, plus Prime, whatever it is, fucking backflips, just do it. Jeff Bezos. And we're going to go on now to some question time. Do we have some questions today? Yes.
We do have some questions. Before going into questions, I want to ask you something.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a pitch for this week?
A pitch?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about our pitch segment. Not really. Now that you've put me on the spot, about the boys or
about anything. Like,
anything.
Okay.
I didn't really come prepared for that.
That's all right. I'll help you out here.
Yeah, you go.
No, I'll help you out. Because I have a pitch, but not for the boys. So, what's the one thing you want from season 4 of The Boys?
I think it'd be cool if they took Homelander's power away from him. Somehow he became depowered and made him more angry. And it turned him into a full-on militant nut job without any powers. And that they're now fighting a human being who is, so then he has to develop a way of living without being invulnerable. Like imagine that what would do to your head. It's like the old adage about Wolverine. You're a young person, and all of a sudden you realize that you're invulnerable. What happens when you realize that? What happens when you realize you're not aging? Like scary big questions. What happens to a person who's only known strength and had that taken away from them? They would become, especially a person like Homelander, would become increasingly irrational and deranged, either trying to get that power back or punishing the people who took it from him. So I think, if you took away his power and had him go full like evil Punisher, make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon they take away his power and then he becomes president and then fucked all over again.
Yep. That's pretty cool. If he became president at the end of the series and that was it, and they stopped making it, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Not everything has to have a happy ending. Why? What's your pitch? I want to hear about it now.
Yes. My pitch is kind of going back to the nerd news segment with Batgirl and everything.
Okay.
I have a trilogy to pitch again this time.
For Batgirl?
No, not Batgirl.
Shoot, I'm excited.
But our boy Dick Grayson.
Oh, the main man. Love it.
The first Dick we fell in love with.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. My favorite Dick.
Yeah.
Great tab on Pornhub. Sorry, keep going. So a trilogy of Grayson pictures. Does it start with him as Robin?
It's like the first 20 minutes is him Robin.
Okay.
And then he's it's just like flashbacks with Batman and everything. First film, just normal Nightwing stuff, like not saving the world or any kind of shit, just stopping crime, just rescuing a dog, getting the relationship with Barbara Gordon right. All the cool stuff.
All the stuff from the Tom Taylor run. Yeah, he's got to get Bitewing.
Yeah,
he's got to get his little pup. It's so cool.
And the first one ends with him realizing that Joker killed Jason.
Oh, okay.
And the second one is him going back to Gotham and trying to take care of Bruce, and also being Nightwing, and then having this kind of moral fight where Bruce is like, I'm too old for this, and you need to be Batman, and him seeing where he came out of, and having that fatherly figure, him to be Batman, and him realizing that he's not that person.
Yeah.
Even though Bruce raised him, he's not the person that Bruce wanted him to be. He's better than Bruce in ways, but he's also not. And like Bruce in this one is an old Bruce and is very bloodthirsty, but he can't do anything because he's old.
Okay.
Like I don't want him to be like so young that he could just put on the cowl again and be Batman again. Like I want Batman to have been like retired and in legend forgotten.
Yep.
And then the second picture ends with the like Bruce is in the Batcave alone, and Dick has left him and told him that he's not going to be his vengeful son, but is going to be the one that takes care of everyone else. And he's left Bruce. And at the end of the film, we have a clip where it's the exact introduction of Red Hood from the comic space, just a security cam footage.
That's cool. Yeah, man.
And then the third picture is Dick Grayson trying to find out who Red Hood is, and then he finds out who Red Hood is. And then the last 30 minutes of the third film is Revenge of the Sith, like the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yep.
That's the last act of the third film.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Sold. You know what it'd be really good is that they would make half of the first one and then cancel it.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
It's fucking too soon.
It's too fucking soon.
Yeah, it is too soon. It happened yesterday. Well, I'm sold. Disney, if you're listening. Oh, no, it's not Disney, is it? Hi, Disney Plus here. We don't own that property, actually, so fuck off. Disney Plus is so rude. Warner Brothers will be giving you a call shortly as soon as they do their taxes.
You have no right to complain about Disney Plus being so rude. You practically threw him off the fucking podcast last episode.
Well, look, he should just insinuate himself whenever. Well, I should actually because, got a stake in this. Keep talking about my shit. You can get fucked! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting there listening to a person have an argument with himself. I'm like a ventriloquist up in here. Anyway, do we have some questions after that wonderful pitch?
Yes, we do. You want to do some questions?
Let's do question time. What is question number 1?
Are you excited for the spin-off shows? I think there's only been one announcement for the spin-off show.
There's an anthology of animated movies set in the universe of Boys that's currently available. I think it's actually on Prime, but I haven't checked it out. Let us know in the comments if it's worth a look. I'm interested to see, what the teen drama version of this is. Sure, it's just going to be Gotham Knights, really, but fucking super violent and with people having premarital sex. What it is. It's true. All these college-age students putting things in places. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
All consensual. All consensual again.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Does that answer your question, person who was legitimately wondering if we were excited about the next show? I am. It'll be cool. Yeah,
I am. I want more of this universe, but I want the boy story to be told first.
Mm. Yeah. A nice round ending to that, and then move on to something else. Don't muddy the waters with too much stuff. Walking Dead.
Ooh, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Favorite character, favorite scene, and favorite song used in the show.
Oh shit! The needle drops. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Favorite character, I probably won't go with the obvious.
Yeah,
because obviously you want to say Butcher, or Homelander for that matter. But
well, if that's the obvious one, then my favorite one is not in the obvious radar.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's who you would obviously say. But I really like Frenchie. I relate to him because, he wants to do the right thing so badly, but parts of him are incapable of making those right decisions because of his history and because of his afflictions and things. But he's so sweet and he cares about people so much. I really dig Frenchie. He's great. Favorite scene? Yeah, I think it's probably the music of this season or of the whole thing. Doesn't say.
Let's focus on this season because
Okay, because it's the
it's
scene in the second season where Butcher walks away from the kid is heartbreaking. But in terms of season 3, the musical sequence with Miko and Frenchie, I fucking loved it. It just hit me at the right moment. I just really needed it, and it was beautiful. So, what about you?
Our favorite character is Mother's Milk.
Beautiful. Yeah, such a great person.
Yeah. Do you know why he's called Mother's Milk?
No,
what's
sure
the origin of that name?
What? Sorry.
The origin of that name in the comics is that Mother's Milk is actually a soup. Okay. Spoilers for the comics. So he got his powers because his mother's milk.
Right.
So
in the comics, that character has powers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I mean, like all he has is super strength, which is not far off from what we have seen of Mother's Milk.
Yeah, maybe season 4 they reveal that he had them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he doesn't know that he did, but he kind of did.
Yeah, that I like that thread as well. How you found out that the reason that he fights Soups is because Soldier Boy killed his fucking neighborhood basically. But yeah, just destroyed the building and killed his family. That's pretty cool. Sorry, what were you gonna say? You went ooh, like a full chimp.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Because that was a very serious note. I just cheered before that.
Yeah. Chimp away.
Yeah. I mean, what if like the end of the boys is Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, but like it's Butcher and like that would
pretty cool. Bunch of it's a slugfest. Two guys just throwing their fucking meat hooks at each other. I'd love it. Meaty fists. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, what's your favorite scene then?
Jesus.
Jesus isn't in it.
No. Well, he kind of is.
Yeah, I guess.
Like in season 1.
Yeah.
My favorite scene. It's a weird one, but it's after like the whole musical thing. I think it's in like the last. I think it's in the second last episode, or the last one. I think where Kamiko and French are in like in a room, and French is like going back and forth with if he wants to work with Butcher or not, because he's been treated so badly by so many people. And Kamiko says like signs that they kiss and it felt weird because they're not that, but they're more than that. They're family, and they complete each other, and it doesn't matter what they do as long as they're together.
Yeah.
And it was just very sweet. Like I didn't expect that to come out of the show. Like
no,
it did.
Not at all. That their relationship in particular this season has been really interesting, especially when she lost her powers. Like the idea of maybe her life could be something different was, loved it. Really beautiful. And do you remember any of the needle drops? I can't tell you. Like
there's a lot of
Billy from then, but
there's a lot of Billy Joel in the show because Hugh likes Billy Joel.
I also like Billy Joel. I do.
I was just say like my favorite one is it's a song that's used in the score for A Man from U.N.C.L.E. and it's just fuck. I have to play it so you can remember. Just give me a second.
Yeah, that's all right. In the interim, I'll just say Billy Joel wrote a song called Piano Man. There's an awful lot of harmonica in that song for a Piano Man song. There's a lot of piano as well, but just think about it. Next time you listen to that song, just hear how much harmonica there is. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it here.
Okay, here we go. Listen,
So,
everybody.
yeah, it's called. The song is called "Take You Down,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's the. So I don't get copyright. I'm only going to play a few seconds.
That's okay.
This is in episode 1 of season 1 where Butcher drives his car into Translucent and kidnaps him.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's like, and he takes Huey into under his wing, sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what plays.
Awesome. I really like that song.
Fucking
I
fantastic.
remember it from Man from Uncle, not that one, but yeah, I'll drop some in.
Yeah.
All right. What was question number 3?
Wait, hold up. We have to make the song thing work. So 1 second. I'm not gonna play the song. I'm just sending you it.
Okay, yeah. Send that to me, and then I'll actually drop it into the episode. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
Question number 3 is Homelander versus Superman. Who would win? What fucking question is that?
Because
what?
But because he like, if let's say for argument's sake, Homelander is definitely just as strong as Superman. Okay, that haven't been proven, but that's, he has all the same powers roughly. If they're of exactly the same ability, Homelander wins because he is willing to go places that Superman isn't.
Yeah, but Superman's also a fighter. Like Homelander doesn't know how to fucking fight.
Yeah,
he
but
doesn't
all
know.
he needs to
He
do is
doesn't
just
know
get
how to
Supes
hover
in the wrong position for 1 second, and it'll tear his head clean off. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But yeah, you are right. Superman is a veteran hero who has, understands strength, but is also, a fighter. Absolutely.
I mean, a good question would be Homelander versus Omni-Man. Who would win? That would be a fight to watch.
But then they'd probably get along in the end because they both fucking hate.
Yeah.
Them, so they might.
And fuck, it's both Amazon properties. They can actually fucking do that.
They could, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like Homelander's. Yeah, make it happen, man. I mean, like Homelander's whole thing is that he wants to be loved.
Yeah.
And Omni-Man's whole thing is that he's devoid of love. Where at the end he finds love, kind of, or realizes that he loves. It would be a very good, very interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, not even them fighting, just the dialogue will be just very interesting.
Very egotistical.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Soldier Boy will return, or maybe
Jensen Ackles?
The guy who was with Jensen Ackles in Supernatural?
Jared Padalecki. That'd be pretty cool. Jared Padalecki came into it doing something, but he's busy being Walker, Texas Ranger, probably. But I would like to see Jensen Ackles return, just because I think he's really good at both sides of that, like of the comedy part of that and the seriousness. He was really good at that in Supernatural as well. He would turn on a dime from being, the funniest thing in the scene to being the most heartbreaking or the most dangerous. So yeah, bring him back. I would like to have that happen. I'm not going to say it will, but I would like it to.
Yeah, I mean, they do keep the possibility open where he's just back where we saw him in the beginning of the season.
He's been Winter Soldier.
He's been Winter Soldier for the better, but that was like, I only had 2 complaints this season. It was one that Huey didn't have a lot to do, like he was just there and things were happening. Whereas in season 1 and especially in season 2, he's doing a lot of stuff. Given that he does take Huey and does try to help in the wrong way. But and my second problem was that nothing quite changed with Soldier Boy. Like he was there, and then they went, like he goes back. Like, but everything around changed, so that was good. I really do enjoy Jensen Ackles. This is the first time I've ever seen him in any other stuff. But
Yeah, he's been busy making Supernatural for the last 13 years, so he hasn't really been in a lot of stuff. He does the voice of Jason Todd in Under the Red Hood, the animated movie.
what?
Yeah. And he also does the voice of Batman in the part 1 and part 2 of the Long Halloween animated films that came out last year.
Shit!
Yeah. He's great.
Awesome.
His performance of Robin in Under the Red Hood is gut-wrenching. Like, for a vocal performance where he's like, why didn't you kill him for me? Like, just, it gives me goosebumps. Mm. Great actor.
Yeah.
And also,
I did not know that.
Yeah, check it out again. You'll hear it now when you hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, bring Jensen Ackles back, and I wouldn't mind the guy who was with Jensen Ackles in Supernatural.
Yeah.
To come back.
Even just for an episode or something, and he plays Gigantor, and he's like a human dude. He's a huge dude because he is a huge dude. I'm not saying he's a Gigantor because he's 6'6" or whatever he is. I mean, have him come back as a giant person. You know, that would be pretty fun.
Like giants, as in like actual like mythical creature giants, not like.
No, like Ant-Man when he goes giant in like, so he's the thing, and Jensen Ackles Soldier Boy like jumps like a bullet through his head. It's just covered in blood and effluvia. Would be great.
Yeah, that would be right.
Pretty cool, right? Yeah, he's a giant, and he's only in for one episode, and Soldier Boy just goes right through his head, or Homelander, whoever. Just be fun.
Yeah. Last question.
Ooh. Question time always gets silly. I can't help myself. Yeah. Every time.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To release the Batgirl movie. That would be one of them. Okay, altruistically and like hedonistically. So altruistically, I wish that I could remove illness from people. Mm-hmm. And like if someone was sick, I could heal them. Hedonistically, I want Aquaman's powers. I want to be able to swim to the deepest depths and be really strong and have Jason Momoa's beautiful hair and tattoos, and also be able to talk to animals, not just fish. I want to be able to talk to all animals. That'd be great.
But so you don't want that power to fuck fish?
I don't need to fuck them. No, I mean, you never know. I mean, if I'm down there for long enough, maybe I'll start getting an inkling. But who knows? It's no judgment on aqua people who have consenting sex with squid. You know, in fictional TV series. I just think it'd be cool to be able to swim to the deepest depths and you know, go down there and talk to the fish and, you know, be fun.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it was just right there, so I had to ask.
Oh, it's totally fair. You know, that's the first question you should ask if someone says they want to be able to breathe underwater. Why? So you can fuck fish? No. So that's an escalation from I would like to have gills to I want to have sex with, you know, echinoderms and other mollusks. You know what I mean? Heard about Reegs? No. What's up with him? He breathes underwater now. That's incredible. How'd he get that power? Neither here nor there, but guess what? What's that? He fucks mollusks. You mean those things that stick to the side of boats when you don't clean them? That's right. We're two people who have the same voice again. Talking about Regan, who we also sound like. I need to put on a vocal performance. Sorry, I make you spit everywhere then. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, God. We always get back to dicks. In fish or out otherwise. Yeah. What about you, sir? What would you like to be able to do?
Yeah, see, I'm not a good person when it comes to superpowers.
What do you mean?
I just want them to myself.
That's
I would like to be invisible.
Okay.
Yeah.
To what end? So that you can steal stuff?
No.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, who's to say? No. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I can turn it on and off like the Human Torch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do it and then like, you know, move things that people don't want moved, confuse the shit out of them and stuff? Yeah, okay, yeah. You're a mischief. You're a god of mischief, is what you are, and I'll have it. You know, that's totally fine. God damn it! Where the fuck did I put my phone again? I just put it down. Addie, are you in here? I'm standing there with, you know, a handful of powder and a handful of feathers or something, just like throwing it in different corners, looking for invisible Addie. Where'd he go? Stop moving my fucking toothbrush. I haven't got a spare. Then I just hear you're giggling in the corner. I know you're here, motherfucker. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna paint you.
You know.
The idea of you in my house invisible giving me the shits is really funny. Like, I light a candle or something like that and you blow it out, and I light it again, you blow it out. Fucking Addie! Cut it the fuck out. And then I find out it's just a regular ghost. You're like, dude, I'm at home on another continent. Oh, does that mean my house is haunted? Yes, it does. You should move. I've seen Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Nonsense. Well,
that reminds me of like the old man in the first Sonic film. That's like I'm trying to convince the town that this blue creature running around.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking believes it. And like Sonic messes with him and he says, I knew you were real, and Sonic says, no, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. That would be you. Addie, you here? No. Oh, okay then. Yeah. Well, after all that nonsense, that's the end of the show for the day, everybody. Thank you so much for coming again and listening to us rant about all of the fucking shit we ranted about. It's such a pleasure. Please do come back again next week. We don't have a topic as yet, but it's always good fun. And yeah, follow, like, and subscribe. We're on Spotify and Amazon Music. Rate and review where you can. And Addie, you're wonderful. You're beautiful. Let's do it again next week.
Let's do it again next week. To everyone listening, stay amazing and stay safe. And thank you for listening.